Hello, this is Tim Reese. I am the president of the Edmond Neighborhood Alliance. For those of you who are not familiar, the Edmond Neighborhood Alliance is an association of neighborhood associations and property owner associations throughout the city of Edmond. And we represent dozens of neighborhoods and hundreds of citizens, generally by monitoring the ongoings of the city, speaking out on behalf of neighborhoods, identifying issues, and trying to make recommendations to the city that bring the quality of life to Edmond that we are all expect. Now, I don't know if many of you have been out in the community beyond Oklahoma City, but you can definitely tell when you hit Edmond because of the nature and the quality of the city and how it's developed. And the Edmond Neighborhood Alliance has played an important part of that. I call on Mayor Dan O'Neill, one of the founder, I guess, of the Edmond Neighborhood Alliance, some 20 some years ago. I know this is our 27th summit, but Mayor Dan O'Neill was there in the early days. He has the names of all the board members and members of Edmond Neighborhood Alliance. And at this time, I'd ask Mayor O'Neill if you would go ahead and let the people know who are helping them in their neighborhoods and helping make Edmond better.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much, Tim. Congratulations to the Edmond Neighborhood Alliance for being part of our city now 28 years. The summit is one of the hallmarks of our activities for the year. It's a little bit different this year, but we're trying to do it virtually, and I think we'll have a successful meeting today because we've got an interesting program. The hallmark of our program, obviously, is the debate for the candidates and for the 3 positions that we have on the city council that we will be voting on April 6th. And that's very important, but we're going to hear from our co-sponsors also, the City of Edmond City Manager and our Edmond Economic Development Authority. They have been co-sponsors since we started this first summit 27 years ago. It's sort of my honor right now to introduce some of the people that are on our board that I can see on the agenda. And but first, let's recognize our last president for his outstanding job as leading the Edmond Neighborhood Alliance board. And I want to recognize Ed Moore. Ed, how are you doing today?
Fine.
Ed is a man of few words. Okay. Congratulations on serving again as the president of the Edmond Neighborhood Alliance. You've been involved in this a long time and certainly done an outstanding job. We want to present a plaque for your service to our community and the services to the, and we will officially give you one of these in the near future. So thank you again, Ed.
It's upside down. I appreciate it, though. I do appreciate the opportunity to serve. Just a few words that I tried to work with the main guideline that we respect our neighbor. 2020 wasn't the year that we planned for. I think the new normal is an oxymoron, and we'll see what happens with the challenges we have in 2021, how we're able to serve. I'm really sad that we lost our Edmond son. With that, we lost part of who we are as our own entity, as a town and as a suburb. I don't like, and we started off the year with the OKC mentality creeping in too and taking over Edmond, and we see that still happening. We see apartments with a rush to build more apartments, east side development, and smaller lot sizes. So as a town and suburb, we've countered with a great forest protection plan. Not anything that I was a part of, but something the city and the mayor was involved in. And we have many challenges ahead, and I want to be a part in keeping Edmond, the city and the suburb that we are. Thank you.
I'm glad you mentioned the newspaper. We do really miss the Edmond Sun, and we miss our history too, because a lot of the articles for the last 15, 20 years aren't available publicly, and we're trying to see if that can happen. I want to acknowledge one of our co-sponsors, and that's the Edmond Way. Edmond Way is a new newspaper that's trying to get a foothold in the the business of Edmond and our community, and it's being sponsored by the folks that own the Guthrie newspaper there. And the editor is Karen Ediger, and we really appreciate all of the efforts that they are doing trying to bind our city together and create a newspaper that will someday match what we had with the Edmond Sun when we lost them the 1st of May last year. I want some other board members. We have Brad Merritt. Brad, can you turn your video on for a second? We have, okay. There's Brad. Thank you very much for being part of our board. Which neighborhood do you represent, Brad? Can you unmute?
I'm in Tall Oaks. The
Okay.
Tall Oaks area.
Thank you very much. We have Victor Cornero. Victor, can you tell us which neighborhood you represent?
I'm with the Orchards of the Trails.
Thank you for being a new member of our board. We have Lydia Lee, I think out there. I'm sure she's out there somewhere. Casey, can you?
Lydia will be joining you there in the.
Okay, very well. We also have Mark Nash. Mark is here in the studio with me. And we have Ronnie Williams, who's in the studio with us here right now at City Hall. And they are helping manage the program this morning. But also we have, who else am I missing, Mark? Yeah, Beth Krause is not available today. She was our immediate past president prior to Ed being there, and she works for the city of Oklahoma City and is in the hub of activities that are going on at Oklahoma City. It's been very helpful. Of course, we have our current president, Tim Reeves, who's been with us a long time. And we have Tanya Kaufman. I think Tanya was on the list. She's been an active member and past president twice for the Edmond Neighborhood Alliance. Tanya, are you out there? Hi, Tanya, how are you doing? You're muted.
How about now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Thank you for all your work with the community and also keeping the real estate. How's the real estate business these days anyway?
It is fantastic.
You bet.
We have no inventory.
Yes, the houses are, I drove around, I did find a couple of houses that were half built that were unsold, okay, last weekend anyway. And who else am I missing? Matt Thomas. Matt, are you there? Maybe he can turn on his video and unmute himself.
He may have gone to go get a cup of coffee, Mayor.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, I have a few things to say just briefly to our community. We don't have a theme for this year's summit, but if I were picking a theme, I would pick, we see the light and it is bright. Okay. We have come a long way in our community. 1 year ago in 2 days, we announced a proclamation for our city that declared an emergency. It was a very concerning time for our community. Our city council held a special emergency meeting, unheard of in the precedent of all the people that currently work in our community that would know, like our city attorney. We don't do that very often. I am happy to report that your city is as safe today as it was prior to the pandemic declaration. I am happy to report that the COVID cases are way down. I'm happy to report that the city is very strong and financially in a very good position. Our sales taxes are actually increasing, believe it or not. That also that our city is still growing and that we are maintaining our city at a level unparalleled by comparison to other cities when we have endured these man-made and weather and the COVID issues. Our city staff has done a remarkable job reacting to all of the different challenges that have been faced for them, and we should all be very proud of the performance of our city employees. Our city has followed, opened up all of our businesses and followed Governor Stitt's up plan. Since the 1st of May, we have not deviated from his recommendations and even followed his recommendations with respect to the mask, where everybody gets to make their own decisions. I appreciate the fact that throughout this pandemic, every community was allowed to make their own decisions. Their representatives were allowed to accomplish the things that they felt were necessary, unique to their community. And that was a real blessing. We were very fortunate to have that kind of flexibility, and very grateful. And I think our city staff and our city council members have done a remarkable job. I want to thank them. I'm sort of in my last hurrah moment with the city council as a member of the city council. But our city council members have hung in there very strongly. We were meeting weekly for well over 4 or 5 months. We were following and tracking all of the numbers that was happening every day. 3 of the council members actually got the COVID, including myself, despite all of our efforts to avoid such things. But life goes on, and we had to be involved, and we did. And I'm very proud of what our city council has done. I want to thank the citizens too for their cooperation. You know, at one time we were really panicked about what was going to happen. And remember this sign that we had around town? We put this out here to remind you of what we all have to do to survive this COVID. And there's a couple of signs that were up before that I put out because we really were concerned. We put out some signs that said, it's real, it's here, stay home. I did that after talking to my cardiologist, who was trying to figure out how to retrofit their hospital facility for the COVID epidemic. And it was some tough decisions, and he was scared to death. And I was scared to death, and so was the council. In addition to the debates, we will have some very special programs tonight. Tim will probably go over the agenda, but I'm very thankful to have our city manager here and to have Janet Yao from EEDA. They have been with us since the city, and EEDA has been with us since the very get-go in 1995 when we did our first Edmond Neighborhood Summit. That's a remarkable cooperation, a remarkable alliance, and a remarkable partnership, and I thank them very much for that. With that, let's get on with the summit, Tim, okay?